From devoted fan to the wife of the king of pop, Debbie Rowe's story is one of Hollywood's most unexpected love tales. Handpicked by Michael Jackson, she was swept into his glittering world of fame, fortune, and fantasy. Their marriage captivated the globe, but behind the glamorous facade lay deep struggles. Now, at 65, Debbie Rowe is breaking her silence, sharing what really happened in their whirlwind union and the secrets behind their fall from grace. Join us as we explore her untold journey through love, celebrity, and heartbreak. What finally brought their star-studded world crashing down. Debbie Rowe, from suburbia to stardom. In the quiet suburbs of Spokane, Washington, on a frosty December day in 1958, Debbie Rowe was born into a world that could scarcely predict her eventual journey into the global spotlight. Raised amidst the warmth of a strong, matriarchal family, Debbie's early life was shaped by the love and guidance of her mother, aunts, and grandmother. After her parents' separation, the values they instilled in her, resilience, independence, and the ability to reinvent herself, would become crucial assets as she navigated the twists and turns of her life. Ironically, her high school years were spent at Hollywood High, a name that would eventually foreshadow her entrance into one of the most extraordinary public lives imaginable. But before Debbie's rise to fame, her life unfolded much like any other in the suburbs, far from the glare of celebrity. She was married young, embracing new beginnings in both faith and identity when she became Mrs. Richard Edelman in 1982. Though this chapter of her life seemed far removed from the bright lights of fame, it set the stage for the pivotal moment that would alter her trajectory forever. Meeting Michael Jackson, a twist of fate in Beverly Hills. By 1986, Debbie was a humble dermatology assistant working in Dr. Arnold Klein's Beverly Hills office, an unassuming job where fate would soon intervene. It was here, within the sterile, brightly lit confines of a dermatologist's clinic, that Debbie first crossed paths with Michael Jackson, the world's most famous entertainer. Jackson, battling the early stages of vitiligo, sought treatment under Dr. Klein, and it was through this professional connection that a personal bond began to form. The spark between them was immediate, though understated, a connection born of shared struggles and personal heartbreak. Both had endured the complexities of failed marriages, and both found solace in the quiet understanding of the other. Their relationship grew not in the limelight, but in the shadow of Jackson's growing concerns about his health and public image. Debbie, with her unpretentious demeanor and genuine care, became more than just another person in Jackson's entourage. She became a confidant and a steady presence in his life, providing a kind of emotional anchor as Jackson's world became increasingly chaotic. For Debbie, the relationship was more than just a professional connection. It was a chance to truly understand the man behind the myth, the real Michael Jackson, whose vulnerability and longing for a stable family life became ever more apparent. The romance. From fan to wife. By the mid-1990s, Jackson's personal life was in turmoil. His highly publicized marriage to Lisa Marie Presley had ended, following a whirlwind romance that was as tumultuous as it was high-profile. Lisa Marie, the daughter of Elvis Presley, brought her own form of royalty to the relationship, but their union was fraught with conflicting desires, particularly regarding Jackson's deep-seated wish to become a father. While Lisa Marie supported Jackson during his most trying times, including the child abuse allegations that surfaced in 1993, she remained hesitant about starting a family with him. The strain of their conflicting goals eventually contributed to their divorce in 1996. It was in the wake of this failed marriage that Debbie's role in Jackson's life changed dramatically. No longer just a confidant, she became the woman who offered to fulfill Jackson's greatest desire, to have children. Debbie, a longtime admirer and supporter of Jackson, volunteered to bear his children, offering him a gift that Lisa Marie had hesitated to give. This offer came from a place of genuine affection and loyalty, but it was also shaped by the unique circumstances of their relationship. Debbie was fully aware that her role in Jackson's life would not follow the traditional path of a romantic partnership. In November 1996, Debbie and Michael were married in a quiet, low-key ceremony at the Sheraton on the Park Hotel in Sydney, Australia. The event was far from a Hollywood spectacle. It was a private affair, attended by just 15 guests, including an 8-year-old best man. For Jackson, this marriage wasn't about public displays of affection. It was about the fulfillment of a deeply personal dream. And for Debbie, it was an opportunity to support the man she cared for, even as their union defied conventional expectations. Whispers and speculation, the nature of their marriage. From the outset, Jackson and Debbie's marriage was a subject of intense public curiosity and speculation. Unlike Jackson's highly publicized relationship with Lisa Marie Presley, his marriage to Debbie was cloaked in mystery. They rarely appeared together in public, and when they did, their interactions seemed more formal than romantic. Rumors swirled that their union was more of a business arrangement than a genuine love match, an arrangement that allowed Jackson to avoid scandal while fulfilling his dream of becoming a father. Debbie, for her part, harbored a quiet crush on Jackson for years, but she also understood the realities of their relationship. Theirs was not a traditional marriage in any sense. They did not share a home or even a bed, and their relationship was often characterized by distance rather than intimacy. Yet Debbie remained hopeful that their bond might evolve into something more, even as the pressures of Jackson's celebrity and the demands of parenthood loomed large. Despite these challenges, Debbie gave birth to their first child, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., known as Prince, in February 1997. The birth was a moment of great joy for Jackson, who had long yearned for the experience of fatherhood. Just over a year later, in April 1998, Debbie gave birth to their second child, Paris Michael Catherine Jackson. The arrival of these two children cemented Debbie's place in Jackson's life, but it also brought new complexities to their relationship. The cost of loyalty. Debbie's role as a mother. Debbie's role as a mother was always an unconventional one. From the beginning, she made it clear that she did not expect her children to call her mom. This decision was in part a reflection of the unique nature of her relationship with Jackson, one in which Jackson would take on the primary role of caregiver, while Debbie's involvement would remain more limited. In the public eye, this arrangement fueled further speculation about the nature of their marriage and Debbie's motivations. Debbie herself later admitted that she had become a mother not for her own sake, but for Jackson's. "I did it for him to become a father, not for me to become a mother," she said in an interview, underscoring the sacrificial nature of her decision. Yet, as time went on, Debbie's feelings about her role began to shift. The distance between her and her children, combined with Jackson's increasing reliance on nannies and other caregivers, led to a growing sense of dissatisfaction. In 2000, after years of living a life that was far from the traditional ideals of marriage and motherhood, Debbie filed for divorce from Jackson. The divorce settlement saw Debbie receive a substantial financial payment, reportedly around $10 million, but she also agreed to relinquish her parental rights. This decision was a significant one, marking the end of her direct involvement in her children's lives, at least for the time being. Legal battles and changing loyalties. For a time, Debbie appeared content to live a life separate from her children, allowing Jackson to raise them as he saw fit. However, in 2004, amid Jackson's mounting legal troubles and renewed accusations of child abuse, Debbie decided to challenge her earlier decision. Concerned about the influence of the Nation of Islam on her children, an influence that reportedly came through Jackson's siblings and their nanny, Debbie sought to regain custody of Prince and Paris. As a Jewish woman, Debbie was particularly troubled by the potential for her children to be exposed to religious ideologies that conflicted with her own beliefs. Her decision to revisit her parental rights was not merely a legal maneuver. It was a reflection of her growing concerns about the well-being of her children and the environment in which they were being raised. This legal battle marked a significant turning point in Debbie's relationship with Jackson and her role in her children's lives. Despite the contentious nature of their divorce and custody disputes, Debbie continued to speak highly of Jackson in public, even after his death in 2009. She often described him as a loving father who cared deeply for his children, and she remained fiercely protective of his legacy, even as she sought to carve out her own role in their lives. A fractured custody agreement. During the 2005 trial, Rowe's testimony about her limited access to her children, revealing she was only permitted 8 hours of visitation every 45 days, painted a stark picture of her struggles to maintain a maternal presence in their lives. This arrangement, dictated by legal and personal complexities, was a reflection of the tension that permeated her relationship with Jackson in the years following their divorce in 1999. While Rowe had initially agreed to Jackson having primary custody of their children, the reality of their highly restricted time together took an emotional toll on her, a fact she would later discuss in interviews. This period highlighted the controlled nature of her relationship with her children, as well as the power dynamics at play between her and Jackson's legal team. The visitation schedule was not one she had anticipated, and her longing to spend more time with Prince and Paris would remain a consistent theme throughout the years. Despite these restrictions, Rowe was determined to preserve her bond with her children, even if her involvement in their daily lives was, at the time, severely limited. The media storm following Jackson's death. When Michael Jackson tragically passed away on June 25, 2009, Rowe once again found herself thrust into the public eye. Jackson's death sent shockwaves through the world, and the media was quick to speculate about the future of his children, as well as Rowe's potential role in their lives moving forward. Unsettling rumors began circulating almost immediately, questioning Rowe's legitimacy as the biological mother of Prince and Paris, and suggesting that her intentions were financially motivated. Tabloid headlines painted Rowe in a particularly harsh light, insinuating that she might sell her custody rights in exchange for a financial settlement. These damaging allegations not only tarnished Rowe's public image, but also added an additional layer of complexity to her already fraught relationship with Jackson's family and the public. The media speculated that Rowe's involvement in her children's lives was a mere transaction, and the suggestion that she would barter their custody for money further distorted her character. Responding to allegations with poise, in response to the swirling rumors, Rowe took a calculated and composed approach. Through her attorney, she issued a carefully crafted statement that sought to set the record straight. Her attorney was unequivocal in his defense of Rowe, asserting that she was indeed the biological mother of both Prince and Paris, and dismissing any doubts regarding her parental rights. He also addressed the baseless claims about financial motivations, underscoring Rowe's steadfast commitment to her children's well-being and clarifying that her primary concern was their welfare. This public defense was not just about protecting her own reputation. It was about preserving the integrity of her relationship with her children in the face of harsh, public criticism. Rowe understood the importance of controlling the narrative, especially given the vulnerability of her children in the wake of their father's death. Shifts in custody dynamics. In the aftermath of Jackson's death, custody arrangements for Prince and Paris shifted significantly. Catherine Jackson, Michael's mother, became the legal guardian of Prince Paris and their half-brother Blanket. Despite these changes, Rowe retained visitation rights, although the terms were carefully monitored by a child psychologist to ensure that the emotional well-being of the children remained the priority. The relationship between Rowe and Catherine Jackson, while not entirely adversarial, was strained by their differing views on how best to raise the children. Rowe harbored concerns about Catherine's age and her ability to keep up with the demands of raising 3 children, particularly given the emotional challenges they faced following their father's death. Additionally, the involvement of Michael Jackson's nephew, T.J. Jackson, as a co-guardian, introduced another layer of complexity. T.J.'s commitments to his music career, including extensive touring, raised doubts in Rowe's mind about the stability of the children's environment. Despite these concerns, Rowe remained focused on maintaining her relationship with Prince and Paris, albeit within the confines of a legally supervised arrangement. Hopes for stability. A new chapter. In a new chapter of her life, Rowe became engaged to longtime friend Mark Schaffel, a development that hinted at her desire to create a more stable environment for her children. She envisioned a life at her ranch in Palmdale, California, where she could offer Prince and Paris a peaceful, more grounded lifestyle, away from the media frenzy that had followed them for much of their lives. However, despite her intentions, the anticipated custody hearing that would have potentially granted her more access to her children never materialized. Rowe's vision of creating a sanctuary for her children at the ranch was emblematic of her deep desire to provide them with a sense of normalcy, something that had often eluded them due to their father's fame and the subsequent media attention that came with being Michael Jackson's children. Health struggles and strengthened family bonds. Rowe's life took another turn when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. The diagnosis was a difficult blow, but it also brought her closer to her children. During her chemotherapy treatments, both Paris and Prince stood by her side, offering their unwavering support. This period marked a pivotal moment in their relationship, as the shared experience of facing her illness together helped to mend some of the emotional distance that had characterized their earlier years. Their solidarity during her treatment underscored the resilience of their bond, proving that despite the challenges of the past, their connection remained strong. Rowe's journey through cancer and the support she received from her children became a testament to the enduring nature of familial love, even when that family had been fragmented by external forces. A complex relationship with Paris. The relationship between Rowe and her daughter Paris has been particularly complex. Over the years, they have experienced periods of estrangement and reconciliation, with each phase marked by emotional intensity. One of the most poignant moments of their relationship occurred in 2019, when Paris invited her mother to one of her concerts. The emotional embrace they shared on stage symbolized their ongoing efforts to bridge the gap between them, despite the challenges they had faced. Paris has spoken openly about her unique relationship with her mother, describing it as more of a friendship than a traditional mother-daughter dynamic. This evolution reflects the unconventional circumstances of their lives and the way in which their bond has been shaped by both distance and closeness. For Paris, Rowe represents a figure of support and care, even if the traditional maternal role was not always present during her formative years. Debbie Rowe's quiet life on the ranch today. Debbie Rowe leads a quiet life on her painted desert ranch in the California desert, far removed from the media glare that once defined her existence. Managing the ranch and caring for animals have become her passions, offering her a sense of personal fulfillment and peace. This lifestyle aligns with her desire to remain out of the spotlight, focusing instead on the things that matter most to her, her children, her animals, and her own well-being. In many ways, Rowe's decision to live a more secluded life is a reflection of her long-standing wish to escape the public scrutiny that has followed her for much of her adult life. After years of being in the center of media storms, her quiet existence on the ranch offers her the tranquility she has long sought. Beyond the headlines, a nuanced relationship. Debbie Rowe's relationship with Michael Jackson was far more complex than the tabloids ever gave her credit for. While their marriage was often portrayed as a transactional arrangement, Rowe has consistently maintained that her feelings for Jackson were genuine. Having known him for over a decade before their marriage, Rowe viewed their relationship as one rooted in friendship and mutual respect, with their shared desire for parenthood being a significant factor in their decision to marry. Despite the media's relentless focus on the more sensational aspects of their relationship, Rowe's bond with Jackson was nuanced and multifaceted. She admired him not only as a musician, but as a person, and her decision to have children with him was driven by a deep connection that extended beyond the superficial. In the years following Jackson's death, Rowe's journey has been one of quiet resilience, navigating the challenges of motherhood, public scrutiny, and personal health struggles with grace. Her story serves as a reminder that behind every headline lies a more complicated truth, one that defies easy categorization. Debbie Rowe's journey, a complex narrative of fame, family, and grief. Debbie Rowe's life is a vivid testament to the unpredictable nature of fame and the tangled web of personal relationships that can ensnare those caught in its orbit. Once an ordinary woman working as a nurse, Rowe's existence transformed dramatically when she married pop icon Michael Jackson, thrusting her into a world characterized by relentless media scrutiny, public speculation, and an ever-present spotlight that often obscured her own personal struggles. The dynamic of their relationship evolved into a complex narrative, entwining the joys of motherhood, the burdens of fame, and the tragedies of addiction. Rowe's journey into the limelight began in the early 1990s, when she became not just a wife, but also a significant figure in Jackson's life, especially as the mother of his children. However, her efforts to regain parental rights in the wake of their separation faced numerous legal obstacles. Although she eventually had some rights reinstated, ongoing challenges persisted regarding her access to her children, a struggle that was complicated by Jackson's own tumultuous public persona. The media's incessant pursuit of scandal made it difficult for Rowe to navigate her relationship with Jackson while defending him in public. She was often caught between the need to protect her family and the relentless scrutiny of the media. Their relationship was a roller coaster of emotions. At times, Rowe stood as a staunch defender of Jackson, while at other moments, her criticisms reflected the tumultuous nature of their bond. The complexities of her feelings were further amplified by the realities of their lives. Rowe was not just a mother, but also a witness to Jackson's struggles, both in the public eye and behind closed doors. As they faced legal battles and the relentless pressure of public opinion, Rowe grappled with her own private feelings, which fluctuated as the circumstances of their lives shifted. Michael Jackson's hidden struggles, the shadow of addiction. In recent years, Debbie Rowe's revelations have shed light on the darker aspects of Michael Jackson's life, particularly his struggles with drug addiction. The glamorous facade that surrounded Jackson often concealed a harrowing reality, a battle with addiction that took place behind the scenes. Rowe's insights, stemming from her close relationship with Jackson and her observations of his medical treatment, paint a picture of a man caught in a web of dependency on prescription medications. Working alongside Dr. Arnold Klein, Jackson's dermatologist, during the 1980s and 1990s, Rowe witnessed firsthand the troubling pattern of Jackson's medical visits. These visits were increasingly less about legitimate medical needs and more about fueling a troubling dependency on painkillers. In her testimony for Katherine Jackson's lawsuit against AEG Live, Rowe did not shy away from detailing Klein's questionable prescribing practices. She alleged that the medications he prescribed were often frivolous, serving to exacerbate Jackson's addiction rather than addressing genuine health concerns. In a jaw-dropping documentary titled TMZ Investigates Who Really Was Michael Jackson, Rowe dropped bombshells about Klein's role in Jackson's downward spiral. She revealed how Klein facilitated Jackson's access to drugs like Demerol through dubious means, including forging medical records. This disturbing revelation illustrated the extent of deception that permeated Jackson's life and underscored the grave risks to his well-being stemming from unchecked addiction. Even as she disclosed this information, Rowe grappled with her own complicity in enabling Jackson's access to these substances. She expressed profound regret, acknowledging the devastating toll it took on his health and legacy. Reports emerged detailing how Jackson used a staggering 19 aliases to obtain prescriptions, meticulously cataloged by Klein, highlighting the extent of the deception at play. Publicly, Rowe demonstrated accountability for her past actions. She voiced deep remorse for not intervening more decisively in Jackson's battle with addiction, recognizing the fatal consequences that ultimately resulted from her failure to act. The unethical practices surrounding Klein's oversight, including allowing Rowe to write prescriptions, an outright illegal act, further embroiled him in legal scrutiny following Jackson's tragic passing. Navigating fame and privacy. The aftermath of Jackson's death in 2009 ushered in a new phase in Rowe's life, one dominated by an even more intense media spotlight. The sudden loss of Jackson not only left a profound void in her life, but also thrust her into the center of a swirling vortex of public speculation. Rowe found herself besieged by invasive media scrutiny, with tabloids and news outlets relentlessly pursuing stories that often blurred the line between fact and fiction. Among the most persistent rumors were those questioning her biological connection to their children and unfounded allegations suggesting she was exploiting her parental rights for financial gain. This constant pressure prompted Rowe to take decisive legal action in July 2009. She filed a lawsuit for defamation and invasion of privacy against an individual who allegedly leaked private emails to the television show Extra. This legal maneuver, underscored the intense strain she was under due to her association with Jackson and her determination to reclaim her narrative. Rowe's legal battle was not just about protecting her reputation. It was a stand against the relentless intrusion into her personal life. It highlighted her struggle for privacy and dignity amidst a backdrop of sensationalism and exploitation, reminding the public of the human cost of fame. Her resilience and unwavering commitment to defend her dignity in the face of adversity serve as a poignant reminder of the emotional toll exacted by celebrity life, family dynamics, and personal growth. Despite her preference for privacy, Rowe's association with Jackson entwined her in a world where her relationships were under constant scrutiny. Following Jackson's funeral, a surprising bond developed between Rowe and Katherine Jackson, Michael's mother. This relationship blossomed from their shared concern for Michael's children, fostering a mutual respect that transcended the turbulence of the past. Rowe's efforts to maintain a relationship with her children, particularly her daughter Paris Jackson, became a focal point of her life post-Jackson. Initially, Rowe had limited contact with Paris during her early years, a situation that evolved into a transformational shift when Paris turned 13. This pivotal moment marked a reconnection, as Rowe began making more concerted efforts to bridge the gap between mother and daughter. Yet, the roller coaster of their bond saw fluctuations again, particularly when Paris sought refuge in a commune in Topanga Canyon, signaling the enduring complexities within their family dynamic. The complexities of Rowe's relationship with the Jackson family became even more pronounced when speculation arose regarding legal actions involving the children and rumors about Dr. Arnold Klein's influence. Amidst these swirling rumors, Rowe chose to focus on her direct relationships with Michael and their children, deliberately safeguarding their privacy amidst the relentless scrutiny of the media. This deliberate choice stood in stark contrast to the decisions of others in the Jackson circle, such as Lisa Presley, who opted to share intimate details about her relationship with Jackson through interviews and publications. Rowe, in contrast, maintained a dignified silence, eschewing tell-all narratives or sensational interviews. Her steadfast commitment to privacy demonstrated a deep respect for their shared journey and the sanctity of their personal lives, even amidst the chaos of fame. Navigating guilt and grief, the profound complexities of Rowe's life were further compounded by feelings of guilt and grief stemming from Jackson's tragic death. As she navigated her emotions, Rowe openly expressed her deep-seated remorse for Jackson's passing, which was caused by an overdose of propofol in 2009. Her acknowledgement of feeling partly responsible for Jackson's death, equating herself to the individual who administered the fatal dose, underscores the immense emotional weight she carries. One particularly agonizing regret for Rowe revolves around her role in dismissals of personnel who could have provided stabilizing influences in Jackson's life. She reflects on how different choices might have altered the tragic course of events leading to his death, adding layers to her sense of culpability. This introspection speaks to the complex nature of their relationship, marked by both love and profound regret. Compounding her grief was the heartbreaking realization that her daughter Paris, grappling with the profound loss of her father, attempted to take her own life in 2013. Rowe had been in regular contact with Paris until this tragic incident, emphasizing the devastating impact of Jackson's death on their family's emotional well-being. Rowe's emotional turmoil illustrates the deep scars left by grief, guilt, and loss, as she navigated the tumultuous aftermath of Jackson's life and death. Rowe's involvement extended beyond personal reflection to her testimony in the lawsuit filed by Jackson's mother against AEG Live LLC, seeking accountability for Jackson's death. The lawsuit alleged negligence in hiring Conrad Murray, the doctor convicted of administering the fatal dose of propofol. Despite Rowe's testimony and efforts to hold AEG Live accountable, the defense argued that Jackson's death was primarily the result of his personal decisions regarding medication, complicating Rowe's quest for closure and justice. In the wake of Jackson's death, Rowe has continued to grapple with her own narrative, seeking to reconcile her past decisions while advocating for her children and preserving their legacy. Her journey through grief, guilt, and legal battles serves as a poignant reminder of the profound impacts of personal choices and the complexities of relationships in the glare of public scrutiny. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us, and we're grateful for each and every one of you. We appreciate your contributions and engagement, which inspire us to continue sharing these stories. If you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Together, we can keep the conversation going. Until next time, take care and stay connected.